about me. She frowned slightly. Or maybe they did, but they never had it within themselves. She swallowed the last of her chocolate, putting down the mug so that she could snuggle deeper under the covers and closer to Ned. She was about to add something else when a sudden spark lit the sky. "Oh, look," she sighed. "Isn't that beautiful?" Ned pulled her close. "Promise me we can always do this, even when we're old and grey." "Especially when we're old and grey," replied Flora. "Are the stars really beautiful where you live?" Ned nodded. "The sky seems to go on forever when you look down the valley, and there's no light pollution. It's utterly black. Some nights, I swear you can see the swirls of the Milky Way itself." Flora pulled herself up into a more upright position so that she could look at Ned's face. "Tell me again why it's called Hope Corner Farm," she said. "No one really knows for sure," he answered. "But the story has it that the first farmer who settled there came from Worcester, driven out by some feudal disagreement over land. So he took off with literally just the clothes on his back and a handful of cattle, which he drove along the roads. He was headed further north, but starving, thirsty and exhausted, and with his cattle on the point of collapse, he realised he could go no further and stopped there to let them drink from the stream. As night fell, he made a rough shelter, and when morning came, he couldn't believe his eyes. He awoke to find that his cattle had all crossed the stream and were grazing out in a pasture of the greenest grass he had ever seen. Taking it as a good omen, he decided to stay, and the rest, as they say, is history. Somewhere along the line, because the farmer always said that this was where his fate changed and he found hope, the bend in the road where he turned off became known as Hope Corner. The farm took its name from that point forward." Flora sighed happily. "And it will be all right, Ned, won't it? Your mum and dad will like me." "Of course it will. They're going to love you." Chapter 1. Was it excitement or was it nerves? Flora wasn't entirely sure which, but something had woken her. Ned had left their bed hours ago, kissing her on the nose before getting up to milk the cows, and she had rolled into the warm spot he had left, relishing his scent and the memory of him. She had fallen back asleep almost immediately, but now, though, she was wide awake. She wriggled her toes experimentally, feeling the weight of the old eiderdown that covered the huge brass-framed bed, and contemplated the day ahead of her. They hadn't arrived at the farm until yesterday evening, and though the house had been a shining beacon of welcoming light, the gardens, the fields, barns, and whatever else surrounded it had been hidden from view in the all-encompassing darkness outside. It was only her second visit, but as the pile of suitcases in the boot of the car attested, this time she wasn't just visiting. This time she was staying for good, as the future Mrs. Ned Jameson. The first time she had met Ned's parents had been every bit as awkward as she had expected. But then, having their son bring home a complete stranger, telling them he was going to marry her, must have come as a huge shock. In fairness, back then, Flora had still been trying to get used to the idea of their engagement herself, so she couldn't begin to imagine how Hannah and Fraser must have felt. Flora wasn't absolutely sure that his mum had liked her choice of bright yellow tights either, despite what she'd said. Yesterday, though, Ned's parents both seemed more enthusiastic in their welcome, and her nerves had finally begun to settle. This was her home now, they had told her, and today she had every intention of exploring it. She flung the cover back from the bed, wincing at the chill that greeted her, and swung her legs over the side of the mattress. Even so, her feet still dangled several inches from the old oak floorboards beneath her, and she had to shuffle forward just to put her feet flat on the floor. She regretted it the minute they made contact with the icy cold surface, and snatched them back up again, staring balefully at the huge expanse of wood around her, not a rug in sight. She lunged for her clothes, which, discarded last night, were still hooked around the bedpost, and dragged them into the centre of the bed, where she pulled them on hurriedly. She lay on her back and kicked her legs in the air to hitch up her tights, bright orange this time, and then wriggled her dress back down again.